let's say that you have a building and then you have enough power going into it and you set it up right, you create yourself a data center.
But it doesn't make sense for, I would say, 98% of business to have their own data center. You simply cannot deploy a unit of compute for the low price that Jeff Bezos can and Andy Jassy at AWS can, because of the price of managing that at scale drops the unit price way so far down.
So can we talk about data centers for a second? Now, all the brand new chipsets, the GPUs, people say that the data center business isn't as robust yet, but it will be. Now, it's my understanding that if you own a building, let's say that you have a building and then you have enough power going into it and you set it up right, you create yourself a data center. Why wouldn't people have their own? Why would people use that one? Why would that data center buy those high-end chipsets as opposed to people like in the old days, which would just say, I'm going to buy a rack and I just need a rack in your data center? Like, what's new about?
This is I spent the last 15 years talking about it as a journalist with SiliconANGLE and theCUBE, and it's not a sexy topic. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest. Like, that's the reason why I was able to make a ton of money creating a news network that just talked about data centers and storage and racks and clouds, because like everybody in tech as a journalist, they love talking about iPhones because you might get a gadget at one of the conferences, and everyone immediately understands like what this is, and okay, I can talk about this. The short answer is economies of scale. Like, you simply cannot deploy a unit of compute for the low price that Jeff Bezos can and Andy Jassy at AWS can, because of the price of managing that at scale drops the unit price way so far down.
So do standalone data centers make sense? What's the use case for them if you had one? Is it something that you see a pathway forward for in the future?
You mean like an on-prem internal to a company data center?
Just somebody other than just AWS or Azure or like
Google or whatever.
Google, yeah.
In very rare circumstances, it makes sense. If you have a highly specialized field of where your compute is an edge case, sometimes in the field of GPUs, where you're using any type of GPU compute, although increasingly that's getting commodified as well, it makes sense to roll your own data center. If you're doing ASICs, like what Bitcoin miners do, application-specific integrated circuits, it's absolutely a different type of operation to manage a crypto farm, a Bitcoin farm, than it is a data farm. And so it does make sense to do something on-prem that way. But it doesn't make sense for, I would say, 98% of business to have their own data center. If you're NASDAQ, you definitely don't want to trust a cloud for too much, because like your thing is just so, like high frequency trading. There's game theory involved. You're trying to like fend off. You're just so specialized. You probably want to have your own data center. How many people can say that? Like, very few industries.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.